Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with me and watching this next video about Other Tongue, a language learning card game that you can play with any of your friends who are learning foreign language, regardless of which languages they are studying. You can play it together. In this video, I have the game set up to look like we have two players battling against each other. They're kind of in the middle of the game, so you can see I've got the knight out. This is my deck of cards that I haven't drawn from yet, that's still remaining. This is my discard pile. Some cards have already been discarded. And there's you. You've got the archer out, there's your deck, there's your discard pile, and we're in the middle of a battle. So I still have the knight and archer out because they're going to help me explain a few very common mechanics that are in this game. First of all, it's important to remember that every card that you have on the field is worth 1 point for you, and it can possibly accumulate or lose points during the game. So just the act of putting one card down means you've got one total point right here. And more might come later. So right now it's 1-1. When all the cards in the deck are gone, the game's over, and whoever has more points out here wins. That's why it might not be too smart to keep too many cards in your hand, because when the game ends, whatever cards you still have in your hand, they're not going to count for you. So what are some other basic rules? Well, as we already learned, knight can subtract points from other cards if he can use his rule text successfully. So that's one common mechanic, the addition and subtraction of points. Some cards don't attack directly by discarding other cards. They attack the other players by reducing their points and increasing your own. Okay, but what's another mechanic? Another thing that happens in this game is cards can get turned down. I already explained to you Archer's rule that he translates verbs on other cards in order to turn them down or discard them. So what happens if your card gets turned down? Well, that simply means that you can't use that card's rule text anymore, unless you can find a way to get that card turned back up through the use of another card's rule text. So if a card is down, it's still worth points for you, and it doesn't lose any points. It doesn't lose any points that it has accumulated. It's basically frozen in time. It's still there for you. You just can't use the rule. Now, if there comes a time when, according to the rule text on another card you're able to turn it back up, then you can use that rule text again normally, just as you did when it first came out. So that's a second mechanic in this game. Cards can get turned up or turned down, and their rule text gets activated or deactivated, respectively. What's another thing that can happen? Cards can get discarded. Okay, so let's imagine we use that Archer's rule text to discard another card. Discarded cards move from the field, this is the field, they move from the field to the discard pile. Cards that are in the discard pile can't be used, basically. You can't use their rule text, and they're all reduced to 0 points. They're not worth any points for you. So when the game ends, only cards that are here on your field can be tallied up to see how many points you have. There are some cards that will help you to get cards back out of your discard pile, and then you can use them again normally. But if they're over here in the discard pile, they are basically useless to you. Now there's one last thing I want to mention. Some cards have the ability to stay. So what does it mean to stay? Knight has that power. Stay is a word that I've chosen to describe protecting yourself. You can use a stay power to protect your cards from anything that you don't want to happen to them. So if somebody's trying to subtract a point from you, if someone's trying to turn your card down, if someone's trying to discard your card, if someone's trying to steal your card, which can also happen in this game, if there's anything bad happening to your cards that you don't want to happen, you can roll a dice And if you get higher, if you get equal to or higher than the stay number written on the card, in this case it's a 5 or higher, 5 plus. If you can roll that number, then you stop that action that's happening against you immediately. So whenever something's bad's happening, just say, I'm going to roll the dice to stay, boom, and it either works or it doesn't. Okay, so those are several mechanics in this game. Other Tongue. I'm Matthew Boyle, languagecardgames.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. And in the next video, we're going to get into some nitty-gritty. I'm going to describe all the linguistic terms that are highlighted in this game. So stay tuned for that if you are really interested in words, foreign languages, and linguistics. It's going to get really exciting back here in a minute.